People are understanding something, are bringing peace in their lives. And you can be a part of the magic regardless of where you are. There's something that's so simple that I want to talk about. I know people have come here to hear about peace. I'll get to that. Because that's not difficult. That's easy. And the reason why it's easy is the peace that you're looking for. And even as we speak, is already inside of you. All of it that you could ever want. But let's talk about this one element. It's a very interesting element called time. Now, I don't profess to be a professor or the most knowledgeable person on this planet Earth. I'm not. There are people who are very knowledgeable than me. But one thing that I heard once said that when this world started, this universe started, time was there. And I thought about this, from nothing to something. The very first start, the very first beginning. And when something changes, time is there. When something is destroyed, the time is there. When something is created, the time is there. When something is sustained, the time is there. Everything that happens, the time is there. And when it goes from happening to not happening, the time is there. So amazingly enough, it's an incredibly prevalent, to say the least, element. Everything. When we think about summer time. Winter. It has to happen at a certain time. If all of a sudden, in December, snow is falling in the southern hemisphere, in Australia and New Zealand, it'll be like, whoa, this is not right. This isn't the time. Thank you. And then there's our little sayings, the time and tide wait for no one. So when you really start to get into it, really get into it, and start thinking about this prevalent force, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. Gravity changes it, speeds it up. Like light. Gravity can bend light. And same way, time reacts. So, why am I talking about time? That's the one thing that you say you don't have. I don't have the time for this. I don't have the time for that. I'm too busy. I got this to do. I I don't have the time. My God, if I only had the time. So why am I talking about time? Well, the reason why I'm talking about time is because this is your time. And you better understand that. That this is your time. For billions of years, this earth has existed in one form, changing. And my God, changing like you wouldn't believe. But right now, the fact that you are alive, this is your time. And please, don't go into that whole conversation in your own head about, will you have it again? Because nobody has any proof for it. A lot of conjecture. Circumstantial evidence, but no proof. And because this is your time, you need to understand what that means. That you are here. And you are here against all odds. The fact that you are here should not be. People are going, well, that's not true. We get stuck in our traffic jam. And when I was coming last night from the airport, oh yeah, we're going to have a little traffic jam. Unfortunately, we didn't. The flow was pretty good because I had a real smart comment waiting for the driver if we would have gotten in the traffic jam. And you know what my smart comment would have been? We are not moving as slowly as you think. So how fast are we moving? 67,062 miles an hour. A bullet only goes 900 miles an hour. Faster than a speeding bullet. Rotating at approximately 1,000 miles an hour. I mean, are you bored? This is what's going on. At 67,000 miles an hour, I don't think we have any metal that exists that could survive that speed. Much less any passengers in it. It would just melt it. The friction would be unbelievable. But here you are. It's a little windy outside. And that gets our feathers ruffled. Oh my God, look at the wind. Are you going at 67,000 miles an hour? I mean, what do you care about 30 knots of wind? But that's not how we perceive it. But there is another reality. And that is a reality. Now the question is, it is a sweet reality or is it a bad reality? And this is where it all comes down to. So there are explanations, myriads of explanations. Destiny comes into play. Well, the fact that you shouldn't be here, what destiny are you talking about? If it was all left to be whatever is destined to be, you wouldn't be here. But you are here. And because you are here, that is a miracle. But you don't think so. Why? Because your definition says a miracle is when a stone gives milk. Miracle. The stone is giving milk. I don't want that milk. I don't care what miracle it is. I don't want to drink a milk coming from stone. I mean, whose milk is it? I was in Zambia once, and I'd been flying, and I was really looking forward to having some tea. So I ordered the tea, and I tell you one thing. I poured it in my tea, and I tasted that tea, and I can assure you that milk did not come from cow. Some other animal, but was not a cow. I was so disappointed. So, what is the miracle? What do we see? What do we appreciate? What do we know? What do we learn? What do we understand every single day? Are we the victims of our circumstances? Or are we appreciating? Beautiful word, appreciate. To know the price of, to know the value. That's what appreciate means. To know the value of being alive. Of existence. The value of this breath. The value of being able to think. The value of being able to experience. The value of being able to understand. The value of knowing. The value of being fulfilled. And the value of peace. The value of peace. I talk about peace, and I know people don't get it. Because to them, peace is something else. It's somebody else's car. It's not your car. It's somebody else's situation. What is peace? Immediately, the word comes world peace. Does the world need peace? The cows need peace? I mean, who bothers the cows? There's only one animal that bothers all the cows on the face of this earth. The sheep, the cockroach, the flies, the mosquitoes, the elephants, the lions, the tigers, I mean, including this animal bothers itself the most. And it's us. Why? Because we project world peace, not personal peace. Not, hey, okay, world peace, good idea, maybe, but I gotta begin with myself. It's like being on an airplane where nobody has taken a shower for 7 days. And you know what will happen, don't you? You know what will happen. You will get used to your own smell. And it'll get canceled out. But other people, you will go, oh my God, he stinks, she stinks, that guy stinks, that guy stinks. And we'll be pointing our fingers to everybody when 3 of them will be pointing to us. And look at yourself. You stink too. But that's not how it is. Oh no. Somebody else's fault. When things happen, I mean, my goodness, what would happen if we didn't have a God? Who would we blame everything on? That's what we do. Everything becomes God's fault. Why me? Why are you picking on me? What did I do? Then there are other explanations. Oh, the reason why you're going through this really bad time is karma from your last lifetime. All right, fair enough. What did I do? I mean, if I'm being punished for something that I did and it was wrong, at least don't you think I'm entitled to know what it was that I did that was wrong, rather than just being punished every single day? And what is the punishment? What is the punishment? The punishment is my neighbor has a Volvo and I have got a Volkswagen. Why am I being punished? My neighbor has 2 shops. I only have 1.5. There are cultures in which people go, all I've got is 4 daughters. And look at him, he's got 4 sons. No, look, it wouldn't be so funny if it wasn't going on even today. Even today. So here we are. There are people who have been trying to make sense out of this for a really, really long time. And do you think they have been able to make sense of it? What do you think? Some people have been waiting for the miracle for 6,000 years. Some for 2,000 years. There's a reasonable time. It's called reasonableness. If UPS or FedEx did not deliver your package that was due on Monday, there is a reasonable time that you could wait, not 6,000 years. You think 6,000 years is reasonable? If the milkman does not show up for 6,000 years, are you going to wait for 6,000 years? 2,000 years? 100 years? So we're the intelligent ones, waiting for 6,000 years. What are you doing? I'm waiting. How long has it been? 6,000 years. Are you going to wait some more? Remember what I said. This is your time now. Now is the key word, not time. Now is the key word. You are alive. That's it. You are alive. But do you know it? Do you know it? Do you know it? Do you understand it? What it means to exist? No, the thoughts go to what is happening today? What are we going to do today? Are we going for a picnic? I don't want, this is what will happen. I don't want to be a boring day today. Have you ever been bored? You don't have to answer that. But may I present a thought? How could you be bored? Ever. When the most exciting thing is happening. Life. When this breath is coming into you, how could you be bored? Have you ever felt lonely? Stephen, a little bit, a little melancholy, a little lonely. How could you? Just a thought. How could you? When the divine is keeping you company. Oh, not just somebody. We're not talking about, just somebody with 15 different Mr. and Doctor and Captain or this or that or that. No, the divine. Hello, the divine. And the divine that I'm referring to does not have a gender. Not needed, excuse me. Just not needed. Gender came later, divine existed before. The divine that I'm talking about is prevalent everywhere. No location, no GPS necessary. That was, is, and will be, regardless of us. Regardless of us. We're just here for a little time, really. Relatively speaking of the creation of this earth, we're here for a very short period of time. You don't know this, but moon is moving away. Slowly, 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 slowly. The sun is getting more intense and more intense and more intense because it's basically on its way out too. And when this happens, all this 67,000 miles an hour is just headed for a big crash. So, what do you want? There are two possibilities. Exactly opposite. One, be confused. And sometimes, not always, sometimes ignorance is bliss. I can attest to that. Ignorance is bliss. Ignorance, what does ignorance mean? What does ignorance mean? Ignorance means to ignore. See, ignorance sounds like, oh, but he was ignorant. So like a good excuse. He was just ignorant. But actually, it's a very deliberate act. Ignorance is a deliberate act because it actually comes from the word ignore. And so you would have to deliberately ignore something for you to be ignorant. So ignorance is bliss. Sometimes. Somebody's picked your wallet, you don't know it, you're shopping away, you're buying things, you're looking for it, and you are in bliss. Now this bliss is going to come to a stop very quickly. But till it does, it's wonderful. So, one option, carry on with the confusion of the world. In the same option, be a believer. Believe away. Believe away whatever you want. The believing doesn't have any limits. I believe tomorrow I'm going to be 8 feet tall. No, that's too much. I'll settle for 6'5". No, that's too much too. Actually, I don't want to wish that because I don't even want to believe that because I'm okay where I am. I fly airplanes, and if you're any taller, you just watch pilots hit their heads on everything. I can smoothly get in and out of a cockpit, so I'm happy with that. I can believe anything I want. You know, right? Some people were believing the earth is going to end. They'd given the date and everything. I'm in my office and somebody comes up to me and says, so what do you think? Is it going to end? And they're looking at me, it's like serious, is it going to end? What do you think? Of course it's going to end. But not on that date. And so far I am concerned, the day I end, it's all ended. Because there's no way to say, has it ended yet? Has it ended yet? Has it ended yet? I mean, you don't want to be getting out of your grave and going, excuse me, has it ended yet? Not going to do this. This is it. So as the world is going, there is a reason for it. Where the world is today, that we fight with each other, and what is the excuse? What is the excuse? The excuse is human beings have been fighting for a really long time. That's it. I mean, we all wore diapers, didn't we? So, do you want to wear diapers now? Just because it was happening once in your life, that is the justification for it? But where is the consciousness? Where is the raising of awareness in a human being? But here we are, we're fighting. The greed is rampant. Unbelievable amount of greed. If children go hungry in this world, you know why? Greed. If there's people who are poor in this world, because of greed. If people go hungry in this world, it's because of greed. Not because this earth does not produce enough. Absolutely no way. This earth produces more than everybody could ever consume. But greed. Greed, 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 greed. So that's one alternative. There's another alternative. And I'm advocate of that alternative. That alternative starts with knowing. To know thyself. To know who you are. Not believing, knowing. Kabir says, and I promised somebody I would speak a little Hindi today, so here it is. भीखा भूखा कोई नहीं, सबकी गठड़ी लाल, गठड़ी खोलना भूल गए, इस विधि भय कंगाल. Nobody is poor. Nobody is hungry. Everybody is rich. But they have forgotten to open this package. Because if they could just open this package, they would be rich beyond belief. तेरा साईं तुझ में, ज्यों चकमक में आग, कस्तूरी का मिर्ग जो बन बन ढूंढे घास. How is it? See, that was Hindi. Good Hindi. Like there is the spark in the flint. Like there is the spark in the flint. Same way the divine is within you. There's a mythical musk deer. And this musk deer wanders the forest looking for the smell of the musk in its navel. And it searches and searches and searches and searches, but it doesn't know that the smell is coming from its own navel. Same way, what you are looking for, Kabir says, is within you, but you do not know it. And to know that is the second option. Don't you love it? Don't you love it? I mean, wow, what an option. What an option. And of course, being the advocate of this option, I don't think there's an option. But your choice. Your choice, you have an option. And when you get to know that reality that is pulsing within you, you know what's going to happen? So, I told you I'll talk about that later. Here's the later. You will be in peace. That's how you get to peace. Not by cutting yourself to pieces will you get peace. Who are you? Do you know? Everybody asks you, how are you? And you have an answer for that, don't you? Don't you? If it's a stranger you don't know, the answer is, very well, thank you. It's a pat, it's given. Somebody you know is most likely not to ask you that question because of our communication skills with our loved ones. We don't even know what love means anymore. It has replaced the word like. When we mean to say like, we say love. Somebody says, did you like the food last night? And we say, oh, I loved the food last night. How can you love the food last night? I mean, how can you love the food last night? I love my car. Man, that you need to see a psychiatrist. There are people. I saw this on Discovery Channel documentary. There are people who love their cars, in fact, have a relationship with their cars, kiss their cars. It was like, this person definitely needed to see a psychiatrist. No, you like your car. You like your home. You love your life. You love your existence. You love the peace that resides in your heart. You love the divine that pulses through you. Uninvited. But because of generosity, the presence exists. And that is the day you begin. When you are in peace, you begin to understand what fulfillment means. Fulfillment. That is the day you are filled with gratitude, thankfulness. Oh, people go, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be a vegetable. I don't want to be a person who just goes around going, thank you. No, I listen, I've got responsibilities. I want to be a part of this world. I want to, I'm a father. I have a business. I have a this, and I have a that, and da. Excuse me. Where did you get this idea that you could only have one or the other? Who gave you this idea? The great human excuse. I don't want to be a vegetable, because if I am in peace, I'll become a vegetable. No, you won't. No, you won't. Because part of being in that peace is to be conscious. Being in this world today, you think people are conscious? You think people are conscious? Are people aware of the result of their actions? We do what we do because somebody else did it before us. Or the excuse is, well, somebody has to do it. That's it? That's your excuse? No. Taking firm understanding of your life to move forward with surety every single day. With complete understanding that what you want is success, not failure. Success. But the success begins from the recognition of success, and the success is that you are here alive. This is success, not failure. This is success. But if you don't know it, and that's why Socrates said, know thyself. Kabir said, what you're looking for is inside of you. Always has been, always will be. Kabir was there around the same time as when Christopher Columbus sailed from Europe to America. Now, of course, if you're an American, you sing praises of Christopher Columbus. History is coming out. It's not being well adopted. History is coming out that things that Christopher did were not very nice. I'm not an expert at navigation, but I know navigation. I know how to navigate. And I would say that he missed the mark. He was headed to India. He figured he could get to India the other way, but he stopped short. He came across these people and he said they're Indians. They weren't Indians. To this day, they're being called Indians. And my only pet peeve about this is every time I do a search for Indian music in America, American Indian music pops up. And I should know I was born in India. I'm one of those genuine Indians. So here's this guy. He was on the right track, but he needed to keep on going. He comes across and he goes, oh, they're Indians. They're not Indians. They had their own tribes. They had their own names. They were nations unto themselves. But even today, that mistake is being repeated, and people are like, yeah. For me, your life, your existence, your reality. Kabir says something, and it rings eternally true in no matter what part of the world you talk about it. What Socrates says rings true no matter what part of the world you talk about it. And if I tried to explain about Christopher Columbus to the Indians, they'll just laugh at me. And I'm not talking about the American Indians, I'm talking about the Indian Indians. See how confusing it's become? This is a blessing that you have. But it takes is to accept in your life. You want peace? Peace is not difficult. Peace is not far from you. Peace is no big accomplishment. Really isn't. Look within. Look within. And then I have something to tell you about looking within. A lot of people go, what are you talking about? Look within. I don't see anything. No problem. I'll tell you why you don't see anything. When you are far away from an object, you see a lot. Further away you get, the more you see. But the more you see, that's one thing, but you lose resolution. Have you looked at a mountain from far away? You see this big mountain range, but what you can't see is the individual trees. What you can't see are the flowers. What you can't see are the details that exist. So the further away you are, you see a lot, but you don't see the detail. If you want to see the detail, guess what you have to do? Come closer. And the more closer you come, the more detail you see. And the closer you come, the more detail you see. So, if you don't see yourself, if you do not see your inner self, the reason is very simple. You are very far away. Come a little closer. And the closer you come, the more you will see. And the more you will see, the more impressed you will be. The more touched you will be. The more you will understand what it is that you have been missing out on. And then you will know why I am the advocate for option 2, not 1. So my advice is very simple. You want peace in your life? Come a little closer. You want to know yourself? Come a little closer. You want to see the miracle of miracles? The infinite. That's the divine. In the finite, dancing? Come a little closer. That's all you have to do. Come a little closer. 2, not to somebody else. 2, your own self. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Don't have to slow down. You can't. You're going at 67,062 miles an hour. How are you going to slow down? Even when you're going backwards, you're going fast. It's the reality of it. Doesn't feel like it, does it? Wobbling, going 1,000 miles an hour, around, and then around the sun at scathing speed of 67,062 miles an hour. Fittipaldi, eat your heart out. This is fast. Fast. Your choice. I'm here to present this possibility. And I say to people, peace is not far away from you. Some people think I just say these things. I mean every word about peace that I have said. You need help coming close to yourself? I can help. I can help. That's what I've been doing for a lot of years. Over 40 years, this is what I've been doing. If you people think, and there are people in this world that think, it's going to be impossible to have peace, then I have news for you. It's already there. That's why it works in prisons. You saw that video? How could it work in a prison? I mean, my God! How could it? I mean, do you realize the environment that they're in? It's like hopeless. Hopeless. But does peace care about the prison walls? No. There is only one prison that can keep peace from manifesting itself, and that is the prison of ignorance. My strategy is introduce knowing. Knowing gets rid of ignorance. And in walks the peace, because it's already there. This is about discovering, not creating. This is not about sitting there and it's like, okay, now don't think about anything else, but just keep repeating in your head, peace, 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 peace. You know what Kabir had to say about that? He said, if that could work, then all people would have to say is wealth, 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 and nobody would be poor. Cool way to look at it. Beautiful way to look at it. And so it is. I'm on a long tour. My journey is very long this time. I've started, I'm going and going and going and going and going. And somewhere, well at the end of the year, will I finally see home. Long, long, long journey. But I know that I also carry a home within me wherever I go. A lot of action in this world sometimes begins with just one idea. And I am so excited about an idea that this prisoner had. I think he is brilliant. And his idea is superb. And the idea is it'll blow this world's mind if there could be peace in prisons. I agree. We all need peace. We all need peace. Because that is the highest form of our expression as a human being, to be in peace. So that's why peace is important. Easy to get to, because you already have it. Miracle is taking place. Absolutely. This breath just came into you. You think it's not a miracle? Hey, what do you mean? What do you mean breath is a miracle? It's the very thing that allowed you to come home when you came out of your mother's womb. Was it not? Because if you weren't breathing, you were not coming home. And when this stops, you're not staying home. You know that, right? You'll be kicked out. When this is no longer coming, you'll be kicked out of your own home. They'll take you, bury you, throw a few flowers on you, and have a party. I don't understand the party business. I mean, it's like, but this is the miracle. And here it is. Here it is.